So as you can see, I've added a new perspective. It's kind of more to the bottom of the room instead of to the center. The reason I did that is this new mini-map. It kind of correlates with it. Oh wow, I went right into an ambush room. So in one of these rooms, all the doors would lock and you'd have to fight all the enemies to get out. And interestingly, there's a boss room right here, but I wouldn't be able to get in there because I don't have a boss key. So what I'd have to do is I'd have to keep going. You can see the map updates as you go. These gray areas are ones that you haven't explored yet. Um, and both the lighting and the squares stay updated after you've entered. So you can see it's very dark right now. I enter, gets quite a bit brighter, and I leave, and it's still brightish. It's not as dark as it was. I might increase that a little bit more to make it more noticeable. Interestingly, that was actually a locked room, which is completely useless because you can just go around to get to here, um, which is a mini boss. So my thought is the boss key is probably all the way back up here, so you'd have to go through this whole dungeon to get this boss key, which that's the boss key, so that you can come all the way back down to get to the boss. So you can see the dungeon, the proceduralness of it's a little bit different now. I'm taking into account both the distance of making the boss key far away from the player and far away from from spawn and far away from the boss dungeon itself. I do the same, try to do the same thing with the other key as well for the locked room. In this case, the locked room is pointless, but a lot of the time it's a bottleneck, so you have to use the key to get through. So you always get the key before that. And here's the boss room. So I have this handy dandy generation tool, another interesting one, which allows me to generate random maps, which is really cool because I can test them all instantly. I don't have a way to change the difficulty of them quite yet, but that wouldn't be very hard. It's just a drop-down menu or something like that. But yeah, that's what I've got so far. Just these fancy animations and whatnot. You can see it kind of it adds some weird chromatic distortion and also some bending effects of the thing to make it look a little bit more trippy. I plan on I don't know what I'm gonna, like what kind of theme I'm going for, or whether it's gonna be maybe a rat navigating a maze on some kind of rat drug or something like that. Oh, boss key. So this is mini boss here, so that means all the way at the other end is probably the boss itself. Another thing I was thinking was a lot of these places have things that you don't need to get through. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that this was the locked room. This locked room, you'd have to get some kind of key somewhere else to get there, which could very well be all the way on the other side, who knows. So, just more elements of having to go back and forth, I guess, which makes it a little bit more, not tactical, but time-consuming. I don't know. Gives more meat to the game. But one of the things I want to do is add, for all these offshoots and stuff, for example, this right here, I guarantee there's no boss room over, well, it's the same distance. Boss room could either be over there or on the other side. This is an ambush room. Interesting. Ambush room right in the intersection. So regardless of where you're going to go, you're going to get into the ambush room. You're going to have to fight an ambush. But I was thinking completionist-wise, I would make it so, for example, you do a score based on how much